We begin tonight with continuing coverage, remembering the life and legacy of President George H.W. Bush. This is a live look at the U.S. Capitol Rotunda in Washington, D.C., where President Bush's casket is lying in state.
His casket will stay there until Wednesday's funeral at the National Cathedral. Then the 41st president will be laid to rest Thursday on the grounds of his presidential library in Texas after another funeral service. Good evening, I'm Mike Montecalvo.
And I'm Shannon Heggie. Lawmakers and well-wishers gathered at the Capitol building in remembrance of President Bush, who passed away Friday at age 94. The U.S. Naval Academy performed during a ceremony following the procession carrying President Bush's casket to the Capitol building. Family members and lawmakers filled the hall to pay tribute. Vice President Mike Pence and Speaker Paul Ryan spoke at the ceremony.
President Trump and First Lady Melania were among those who paid their respects this evening. President Trump has declared Wednesday a national day of mourning. All federal offices will be closed in remembrance of the late president.
And members of the public can pay their respects around the clock until Wednesday morning.
And tonight, a local man tells us about President Bush's military training right here in Rhode Island. Eyewitness News reporter Caroline Goggin joins us now live from the newsroom with that story. Caroline?
Well, Mike and Shannon, since his passing late Friday night, we've heard so many stories about the late president. And tonight I got to hear a couple more, particularly about his military training here in Rhode Island.
God bless the 41st President of the United States.
A touching tribute Monday evening in the U.S. Capitol, where President George H.W. Bush will lie in state until his funeral Wednesday morning. During today's service, lawmakers from both sides of the aisle paid tribute to the 41st president.
His example will always inspire, and his lifetime of service will be enshrined in the hearts of the American people forever.
Monday night, members of the public came out by the hundreds to pay their respects, waiting in large crowds, hands on their hearts, for a final farewell to a man who served his country in office and in the military.
His Navy career was compressed. It was unique in his age, and also the fact that he was a distinguished veteran who received several commendations and medals for his service.
We caught up with Brian Wallen, co-author of the book World War II Rhode Island, over the phone Monday night. He talked about how President George H.W. Bush did his aviation training here in the Ocean State. Wallen says Bush spent about 6 months training in Rhode Island before shipping out to the Pacific. He was about 19 years old at the time, flying primarily out of the former Charlestown Naval Auxiliary Air Station, which is now Nenegrid Park. Wallen says Bush was trained on the Navy's Avenger torpedo bomber.
He would have trained, for example, dropping aircraft airborne torpedoes on the torpedo test range that ran from Gould Island just off Jamestown, 6 miles up the bay.
And the 41st president will be carried to his final resting place in this pair of socks. Jim McGrath, a spokesperson for the Bush family, tweeted out this picture saying President Bush will be buried with them in honor of his time as a naval aviator. I'm Caroline Goggin, Eyewitness News.